on. Good morning, PyCon. Woo! That was much better than when Paul did it. Thank you. My name is Eva, and I'm with the Python Software Foundation. Yeah! Could actually cut to my slide deck now. Yeah, okay. I know several of you are thinking, what is the PSF? In short, we are a grant-giving nonprofit. We protect the intellectual property of the Python language. We produce PyCon US, and we support Python communities all over the world. Of all the various activities that we take on, PyCon and our grants program are probably the largest tasks. Looking at PyCon and thinking back 10 years ago when I first met this community, I recall it having a little over than 1,200 attendees. This year, we welcome more than 3,300 attendees from all over the world. That is some growth. And when we look at our grants program, we also see similar growth. Back in 2010, the PSF granted about 30 grant requests. And since last PyCon here in Portland, the PSF has granted over 160 grant requests to different communities all over the world. And since I am referencing the grants program, I would like to recognize two special communities that have been doing a really great job recently. It's the Nigerian Python community and the Brazilian Python community. Just looking at the grant requests that we have received in the last year, we can really see that their local organizers are taking amazing efforts and strides into expanding Python and making it a very international language. So thank you to them. And many of you may be thinking, how can I get involved? A great way to get involved in our community is becoming a PSF member, and I did throw up the link. It was actually shorter than the bit.ly link, so I'm pretty sure you guys can do that. So becoming a member can mean that you network with Pythonistas from all over the world, or that you volunteer for a work group, or that you put on a local meetup or conference. Being a member can just mean that you support Python and its community. So the PSF is lucky to have a great membership base, and many of you have probably run into them throughout this conference, but we're always looking to grow. So let us take some time to honor some of those awesome members by recognizing the Community Service Awards from this past year. So first up, we have Damien George. Unfortunately, Damien could not be with us today, but he has done extensive work in the BBC microbit and MicroPython community. Through his work, the MicroPython board optimizations have also made the CPython speed improve. Next up, we have Jacqueline Kazil, and Jacqueline is here. Jackie, you want to come up? So Jackie is an active member of the PyLadies community. Recently, she's also been a PSF board of director. And as a PyLadies organizer, she helps with the PyLadies auction, which I'm sure some of you have been to recently. And as of last night, they raised $20,000 for the PyLadies community. That's the highest we've ever raised. And as Jackie was on the PSF board this year, she also led the team for the grants working group. Sorry, my slides are not in sync at all. So next up, it's someone that we're going to skip, but I wanted to, because I know some of you are in the audience that know Ned personally, so I wanted you to know that I'm not skipping him intentionally. Ned could not be here after being at 10 PyCons, and we are saddened by this, and so is he. So he asked that we actually hold off his award until next year. So expect to see him on stage then. And next up, we have Stefan Werdel. Stefan, come on up. Stefan is a very active member in Europe. Specifically, he has put in a lot of effort into organizing several user groups in Belgium. He actually also organizes the Python Dev Room at FOSDEM every year, which sells out every year. Stefan is also part of the marketing work group, which helps us make the PSF more visible. So thank you, Stefan, for all the work that you do. So next up, we have a continuation of the last lightning talk that we just saw. So Paul and Laura are the ones, and their team, obviously, are the ones that have taken on PyVideo. But these two, Sheila Miguez and William Congreen, are the ones that started it all and maintained it for several years on their own. So we want to give them, I'm sure if you have not had a chance to go to pyvideo.org, I strongly encourage you to. I added that link up there just in case. So big round of applause for them. And Sheila could not make it, but she was kind enough to send me a message to share with you all. So there it is. Next up, we have Ernest W. Durbin III. So unfortunately, Ernest had to leave PyCon early this year due to previous commitments. But he has been a dedicated PSF volunteer for several years, as well as locally to CLEPI. He has helped with the PSF infrastructure, not just the internal infrastructure that we deal with at the PSF, but also external, such as Warehouse, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Additionally, he's been the co-chair of PyCon 2016. We're trying to train him for 2018 and 19 in Cleveland. And as you can see, he's dedicated to Cleveland. So next up, I'd like to welcome Shannon Turner to the stage. Shannon is the founder of Hear Me Code, which is a beginner-friendly Python coding series of workshops that has reached over, was it 15,000? 2,500, wow. 2,500 women in the DC area. And those workshops are free, and Shannon does this on her own time. Thank you, Shannon, for all the time that you've dedicated to empowering those women. Next up, we have Ian Cardasco. Ian also cannot make it this year, but regardless, his volunteer efforts are continuing as we speak. We have an election coming up, and Ian is our PSF voting administrator. So he's working to make sure that we have an honest and true ballot. In addition to his PSF duties, Ian has also mentored several women in the Python community. So let's give it up for his work. Next up, I would like to welcome Brian Costlow to the stage. Woo! Some of you may have seen Brian running around and standing in the back of the room with the captioner, and that is because Brian has been the volunteer lead on captioning for 2 years in a row at PyCon. And that's not an easy task to make sure that it's all organized and in place. In addition to that, Brian is also very active at PyOhio and his local community. So thank you, Brian, for everything you do and making PyCon more accessible to everyone. next is our special award that we don't give out yearly, but when we do give it, we want to make sure everyone knows about it. So it's the Distinguished Service Award, and this year it's going to Tim Peters. And I hope that explains to some of you as to why you have the Zen of Python on your conference t-shirts. Actually, I should have, if I thought about this ahead of time, I should have asked you all to wear it so we could take a picture for Tim, because Tim is not here. But he did share this wonderful message for you all. I hope you find some humor in it. So, Tim, if you are watching this video, thank you for everything you've done for the Python community, and we're very sorry that you could not be here with us to accept this award in person. Woo! So thank you all for being here this morning, and see you in Cleveland.